You can draw this in Procreate. You can create your own unique art on your iPad. During this easy to follow tutorial, I will show you how you can create this abstract art piece with super relaxing colors. This piece isn't just relaxing to make. During this tutorial, you will also learn all about the basic features of Procreate. You will learn how to manage layers, make use of alpha lock, Gaussian blur, and we will even use the smudge tool during this tutorial. So you can learn and relax at the same time. And once you're finished, of course, I would love to see your own unique result. So don't forget to share it. Just like my friends at Patreon did. Check out these amazing artworks. At Patreon, you will find more than 150 Procreate tutorials like this fun, painterly, super colorful seascape. But now let's get back to this tutorial. We're working on a canvas that is 2,300 pixels by 3,000 pixels. Color profile is set to sRGB. The color palette is linked in the description, and we will only be using brushes that are already in the app Procreate. So if you're ready, let's get started. We'll start off by creating two circles, and we'll do that with the monoline brush, which you can find under calligraphy. And for the color, we'll start with this one, second color in the first row. The opacity of your brush should be at 100%, and I have the size set to 30%. Now let's draw a circle over here. Hold your pen in place, tap one finger on the screen to make it switch to a perfectly round circle, and then drag in the color like this to fill it. Then we'll make a new layer. So we'll tap the plus in our layer menu, and then we'll switch to a different color. We'll grab this one, second color in the third row, and then we'll make another circle over here. So again, draw a circle, hold your pen in place, hold your finger on the screen for a perfectly round circle, then let go and drag in the color. Now we'll go back to our first circle, layer 1 here, and we are going to duplicate it. You can do that by sliding to the left and then tapping duplicate. Then select the bottom one, and now we are going to change the color of that one. So we'll go to the color palette, and then we'll grab this color, fourth color in the second row, and drag it onto the circle. Now you can't see anything, but when you look in your layer menu, you'll see that the bottom circle is now orange. Next, we are going to make this one bigger by going to the Move and Transform tool. That's the little arrow here. Make sure you have it set to uniform, and then drag these handles to make it slightly bigger. Let's go for something like this. And now we are going to duplicate it again. So we'll go to the layer menu, slide to the left on this layer, tap duplicate, and again, select the bottom one. For this one, we'll grab a darker color. This one over here, fifth color in the second row, drag it on there, then go to the Move and Transform tool and make this one bigger as well. Then we'll do this again. So we'll go to the layer menu, slide to the left, tap duplicate, go to the bottom one, grab a different color. Let's use this one this time. That's the third color in the second row, drag it on there. Then we'll go to the Move and Transform tool again, make it bigger. Let's go for something like this. And then again, we'll duplicate it, slide to the left, tap duplicate, go to the bottom one, and then grab this light yellow, second color in the second row, drag it on there, go to the Move and Transform tool, and make this circle a bit bigger. And let's make it cover that entire corner there. So let's go for something like this. And then let's tap the arrow. Now for our next step, we are going to add texture and shading to this area. And to be able to add any texture without going outside of the shape, we'll go to the layer menu. We'll start with our blue circle. Then we'll tap that layer and turn on alpha lock. Now whatever we paint, it'll only show up on this circle and not on the outside. And for our brush, we'll go to the inking brushes, and then we'll use this brush over here. I guess you pronounce it like thylacine. We'll grab that brush, and then for our color, we'll use this one over here, third color in the first row. Now the opacity of the brush should be at 100%, and let's set the size to maybe 10%. Let me check that out. Maybe even smaller. Let's go for 7%. And now let's make rounded shapes here, following that circle and adding these lines, this nice texture. And let's also add some light by using the first color in the first row. And we'll add that over here. Also with this rounded motion, following our circular shape. And then what we can do is blend it a bit and at the same time add some texture. So let's select the smudge tool. That's the little finger icon. And then we'll go to the painting brushes over here. You can use any brush for the smudge tool. But this time we are going to use the old brush, which while it is smudging will also add this nice painterly texture. So let's select that. The opacity or the smudge strength should be at 100%, and let's set the size to 12%. And now you can follow the shape and you can smudge the colors, blend them a bit, but keep that direction in mind. So we get this nice painterly texture. You can definitely keep it a bit messy. We're going for an expressive artistic piece here. Then let's move on to layer, well, 1 here. It's all layer 1, but the next layer, which is that light orange, let's tap it and turn on alpha lock again. And then let's grab the brush again, which is still the thylacine. And for the color, let's first grab this one, fifth color in the second row. And let's go along this area, rounded motions again, adding some of that orange. And then let's go darker by grabbing this red, sixth color in the second row. And then let's add some here, add a darker touch. And then finally, let's also add a lighter color. Let's grab this one, second color in the second row. And let's add some of those scratches here. And then you can switch to the smudge tool again, which is still set to the old brush. And you can just go over some of these areas. And of course you can leave some of those scratches. And blend it a bit. And push and pull that paint around. Then let's move on to layer 1 again, just the next layer. And we'll set that to alpha lock again. Now you can tap the layer to turn on alpha lock, or you can swipe to the right with 2 fingers. To turn it on, you can see that little checkerboard pattern. Now for the color, let's grab this. Let's grab this pink, third color here in the third row. And we have the brush selected. And then let's add some pink here. Now these colors, these warm tones are all nicely contrasting with the blue circle here. So that will make that blue circle pop more. Now let's also grab some purplish tone, 8 color in the second row. Add some of that here. And then maybe some lighter color like this one, 4th color in the second row. Let's add that here. And then again, you can grab the smudge tool to soften some areas. And at the same time, add that nice painterly texture. All right, then the next ring. Let's go to this layer. tap it, turn on alpha lock, or swipe to the right with 2 fingers. And then let's grab some more pink. Let's grab this again, third color in the third row. And let's add that here. Making round motions. Then maybe some lighter pink. This one, first color in the third row. Add that over here. And maybe some darker orange. Let's grab this one, fifth color in the second row. And maybe we can also go a little bit lighter with this color, second color in the second row. Let's add that over here. Just a little bit. And now let's grab the smudge tool again and smudge some of that out a little bit. And adding that nice painterly texture again. You can see I'm still following that curve of the circle, making these round motions. And now for the final circle, let's go here, tap that layer, turn on alpha lock. And for the color, let's use this one, third color in the second row. Let me zoom out a little bit, add a little bit of texture. We don't need a lot here. Follow that rounded shape. Then grab the smudge tool and smudge it a bit. Again, following that rounded shape. This is looking great so far. Now to add some more depth, I would like to add some shadow effects. And to do that, we are going to duplicate our layers, except for the pink one. We will work on that one later. And to duplicate all these layers, we can simply slide to the left, tap duplicate for each of these layers. So slide to the left, tap duplicate until you have 2 of each of these, just not for the pink one. Then select the bottom one, then grab this dark blue color, fifth color in the first row, then go back to the layer menu, tap this layer, and use fill layer. And we'll do that for each of the bottom layers. So now we'll skip one layer, go to this one, tap it, use fill layer, skip a layer, tap it, use fill layer, then to this one, tap it, use fill layer. And actually, we don't need this one. I totally forgot. We don't need this one. We can actually remove it. Let's slide to the left and tap delete. Now we need to turn off alpha lock on each of these layers. So you can tap it and turn off alpha lock here, or you can slide to the right on these layers, just the dark blue layers. Now let's start with this one and then select the magic wand here and go to Gaussian blur. And then you can slide to the right on your screen with your pen or finger like this and give it a blur. Let's go for 7%. Then we'll go to the next one, this layer over here. Again, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur and slide to the right. Let's go for 5% this time. Then go to the next one, go to the magic wand, select Gaussian blur, and slide to the right to 5%. Then go to this one, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right. Again, let's go for 5%. Now to make sure that these layers aren't just blue, but to make them adjust to the texture that is underneath, we are going to change the layer blending mode. We'll go to the layer menu, then tap the N, and then scroll up to multiply. And do that for each of the dark layers. Multiply is great when you want to add shadow to something, but you don't want to cover any of the texture you have created. And the next one, to multiply. So all of these bottom layers, well, you'll see an M instead of an N. So this is multiply, this is normal. All of these have an M. Now we are going to move these shadows slightly. So we are going to select all of these shadow layers. And you can do that by sliding to the right on each of these layers until these 4 are blue. Then we'll go to the Move and Transform tool, little arrow, and just tap outside of the bounding box to the side and to the bottom, just slightly until it's moved slightly downward and to the right. And then tap the arrow again. Now let's also add a little highlight. So let's go to layer 1 first. Then for our brush, I'd like to go to the painting brushes and use the acrylic brush. And for the color, we'll use this one. 5th color in the 3rd row, a nice light color. The opacity of the brush is at 100%, and let's set the size to 8%. And then let's go in here and add a little highlight edge around the top left area. You can just paint outside of the shape a little bit. You don't have to go over it. You can just have your pen on the outside to create a thin little edge. And we'll do that for each of these shapes. So now we'll go to the next one, this one over here, and add a thin little edge. Then to the next one over here. Go along the outside for that little highlight edge. Then the next one over here. Just go along this edge here for a little highlight. Now we have finished this area, these circles. So once you're happy with these, you can actually merge them all together, just not with our pink little circle. So this layer, just until the bottom one, we can all pinch these together like this. And that's really handy if you want to save some layer space, because the amount of layers you can create depends on your iPad and your iPad specifications. And next we will follow the same steps, but then for our pink circle. So first we are going to duplicate it. Slide to the left, tap duplicate, then go to the bottom one. And now I want a color that is contrasting to our pink circle. So let's go for a bluish color. Let's just grab this one, 2nd color in the 1st row, drag it on there, then go to the Move and Transform tool and make it bigger. So now we have a nice, cool color that is contrasting to the warm pink. Now let's do this again. Slide to the left, tap duplicate, select the bottom one. This time, let's grab a darker blue, 3rd color, drag it in there, then go to the Move and Transform tool. And I want this area to be a bit less like symmetrical. So I don't want it to be in the exact center. I want it to be a little bit off center, just for some playfulness. Now let's duplicate it. Slide to the left, tap duplicate, go to the bottom one. For this one, let's grab a green. Let's go for the 7th color in the 1st row. Drag it on there. Go to the Move and Transform tool. Make it bigger. Then let's duplicate it again. Slide to the left, tap duplicate. Go to the bottom one, and then for the color, let's use this one, 6th color in the 1st row, drag it in there, go to the Move and Transform tool, and make it bigger. And it's okay if it's overlapping a little bit here, that's totally fine. Yeah, let's go for something like this. And then we'll go ahead and add that painterly texture again. We'll start at the top with layer 2 here, but they are all layer 2, but the pink one. Let's tap the layer, turn on alpha lock. Then for the color, Let's grab this one first, third color in the third row. And for the brush, we will go back to the stylus sign under inking. And again, let's make these rounded shapes, rounded motions around the bottom. Then let's go darker. Let's grab the fourth color in the third row. Let's go over here. And then let's grab a lighter color. This one over here, first color in the third row. And again, make rounded motions. And now we can switch to the smudge tool again and blend it a bit. But keep making these rounded motions. Then let's move on to the next layer. Tap it, turn on alpha lock. Then for the color, let's grab this one, sixth color in the first row. And let's add that here underneath. Then we'll switch to a lighter color. Grab this first color in the first row and add some highlight here. Again, following the rounded shape. Then grab the smudge tool and blend it a bit. Adding that nice texture. All right, then let's move on to this layer. Tap it and turn on alpha lock, or again, slide to the right with two fingers. And then for the color, let's start with this one, ninth color in the second row. And let's add that here. A nice extra warm touch in this area. Then let's go darker and grab this color, 10th color in the second row. And add that over here for a bit of a shadow effect. And then let's also add some lighter blue by grabbing the second color in the first row. Let's add that here to the top, just a little bit. And then grab the smudge tool. So we can go ahead and blend this a bit. It also pushes the paint around. Smudge tool. Just make sure that you keep following that rounded shape. All right, then let's move on to this layer. Let's tap it, turn on alpha lock. Then for the color, let's first grab this one, fourth color in the second row. Let's add some yellow here. Just a little bit. And let's also add some dark blue. Fifth color in the first row. Some nice contrast here. Of course, you can also experiment with other colors from the color palette. Your artwork will be unique. You don't have to make an exact copy here. Then let's grab the smudge tool. This is really about letting go of perfectionism. So don't worry. Just go with the flow. Create your own unique piece. Then let's move on to the next one. This one over here. Now, this little area is bugging me a little bit that we have this gap here. So let me grab the monoline brush again. And let's grab the color we used. That's this one over here, sixth color in the first row. And let me just fill that gap. Then we can go back to the layer menu, tap it, and turn on alpha lock so we can add some texture. Let's also grab the stylus brush again under inking. And for the color, I like to add some more pink. Let's go for the third color in the third row. Let's just add some of these strokes. There's a lot of color variety here in the lower right area, but I like that. You know, we're creating art here. You can do whatever you like, whatever you feel like. Then let's grab this color over here, 9th color in the first row. I want to add some of this like olive color. I think that looks nice. Then let's grab the smudge tool and soften this a bit, smudge it a bit, and keep that nice texture. Next, we need to do the shadow trick again. So we are going to repeat the process, but this time we are going to skip the bottom one right away. So we'll duplicate these top 4. Slide to the right, no to the left, slide to the left, tap duplicate, and do that for each of these layers. So you have 2, 2, 2, and 2. Then select the bottom one, grab that dark blue again, 5th color in the first row, go back to the layer menu, tap this layer, and use fill layer. And do that for all of these bottom ones. So this one, use fill layer, and this one. Then we need to turn off elf lock again, so we can slide to the right with 2 fingers on these dark layers. And now we are going to use Gaussian blur again. Let's start with this one. Go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right. Let's go for 7% and then move on to the next one. Over here, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, slide to the right, 7%. Next one over here, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, slide to the right. Let's go for 7% again. And then finally for this one, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right. I'll go for, well, let's just go for 7% again. Then we'll set these layers to multiply again, so we need to tap the N, scroll up to multiply, tap this N, to only do that for these dark layers. And finally this one. Then we can move them again slightly. So we need to select all 4 of them by sliding to the right. So these 4 are blue. Then we'll go to the move and transform tool. And we'll nudge this layer a bit by tapping on the outside. Then tap the arrow again. And then let's add highlights again. Let's start with the top one. Let's grab this light color, 5th color in the 3rd row. And for the brush, we need to go to the painting brushes again and use the acrylic brush. And again, we'll go along those top areas. Adding that highlight. So first for the pink layer, then we'll go to this layer. Again, make a little highlight. Then to the next one, this layer. Just a thin little edge. And then this one. And then finally this one as well. Just a thin little edge in the upper left area. And then once you're happy, again, you can merge all these layers, but don't merge them with this area. So just these layers, pinch them together. So now we have 2 layers, one with this circle and one with this one. Next, we'll make a layer in between these two. So we'll tap layer 1 first, then we'll tap the plus, and then for our brush, let's go to the calligraphy brushes and use the script brush. And for our color, we'll grab this one over here. Fourth color in the first row. Now the opacity of this brush is at 100% and the size is at 12%. And now we're going to make a shape in between these two. We'll start here, make a swooping shape up here, and then we'll make another line next to it like this. And then this shape should be closed. They should be touching the outer edges, and then you can drag in the color. Next, we'll make another layer underneath this one. So first we'll tap layer 1, then we'll tap the plus. And then for the color, we'll grab this one, 6th color in the second row. And then we'll make another swooping line like this and go behind it here. Drag in the color. And now let's make another shape. Let's use the orange for that, 5th color in the second row. And let's make a shape over here. Let's go for something like this. Drag in the color. Always make sure that your shape is closed. And then we'll make another one underneath. So first tap layer 1, then tap the plus. Then grab this color, 8th color in the second row. And then let's make a shape over here. Drag in the color. And then another one. Let's grab this color, 1st color in the 3rd row. And let's use that over here for a shape. Drag in the color. Then another one. Let's grab this color, 3rd color in the 2nd row. Let's make a shape here. Drag in the color. Then we'll make another layer underneath. So first tap layer 1, then tap the plus. Then let's grab this color, 6th color in the 1st row. And let's make a shape here. Make sure the shape is closed or touching both of the edges of the canvas. And another one. Let's tap layer 1, then tap the plus. Then let's grab this color, 8th color in the 2nd row. Make a shape like this. Drag in the color. And then once more, tap layer 1, tap the plus. Then let's grab a pink. Let's grab this 2nd color in the 3rd row. And let's make it cover this shape a bit. Drag in the color. Now maybe we can make this one a little bit bigger. You just go back to layer 7 here. Grab that color again. You can do that by tapping and holding on your screen. And we can extend this shape a bit. Drag in the color. So we got these nice swirls filling up our composition. Now let's start adding texture. Let's start with this layer, layer 3. Let's tap the layer, turn on alpha lock. Then grab the thylacine brush under inking. And then for the color, let's start with this one, 2nd color in the 1st row. And let's add some lighter blue. Following the curve of the shape. And let's go even lighter by grabbing the 1st color in the 1st row. And add some light blue here. And then again, we can grab the smudge tool to soften this. And again, follow that shape of this swirl. And now let's move on to layer 4. Let's tap it, turn on alpha lock, and then let's grab this orange, 5th color in the 2nd row. Let's add that over here. Then let's grab this color, 8 color in the second row. Let's add that over here. And then the darker one, 10th color in the second row. Add that here at the top. And then let's also grab this color, 7th color in the second row, for some darker red over here. And maybe even some of this 10th color in the second row. And for this shape, I'd like to add some pink. Let's grab this one, 4th color in the third row. Follow the curve, and then grab the smudge tool again to nicely smudge it over here as well. Again, while smudging, also follow that curve. And then we'll move on down to layer 5, tap it, turn on alpha lock. Let's first grab this color over here, 1st color in the second row. Let's use that over here. And we can also add some here. Then let's grab some darker pink. This one, 2nd color in the third row. And then let's switch to some red. This one over here, 6th color in the second row. And let's use that for this curve. And then let's grab the 5th color in the second row. Then we'll grab the smudge tool, smudge the area a bit for that nice painterly look here as well. Follow the curve. And this one. Then we can move on to layer 6, tap it, turn on alpha lock, and let's add some greenish color there. Let's grab this color. That's the 8th color in the second row, no, first row, 8th color, first row. And let's add some here. Following the curve, and then grab the smudge tool. Then we'll move on to layer 7 here, tap it, turn on alpha lock, then grab a pinkish color. Let's grab this one, 2nd color in the third row. Add that over here. Then grab the smudge tool and make it softer. Then finally we have this one, layer 8, tap it, turn on alpha lock, and let's add some light there. Let's grab this one, 1st color in the third row. Follow the curve. Let's go even lighter by grabbing this color, 5th color in the third row, and add some light here. Then we can grab the smudge tool again and make it softer and even more painterly. All right, then let's add some shadow again. Let's go to this layer first. Let's slide to the left, tap duplicate, then go to the bottom one, grab that dark blue color, 5th color in the first row, then go back to the layer menu, tap the layer and use fill layer. Then make sure to turn off alpha lock, tap the N to set this layer to multiply, And now we can go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right. Let's set it to 8%. And let's repeat these steps for the other layers. Let's go to this one, slide to the left, tap duplicate. You know, let's do it for all of these right now. So we have all these duplicates. Tap the bottom layers and use fill layer. This one as well. This one. This one. And this one. Then we need to turn off alpha lock. We can do that by sliding to the right again. And yeah, this one. Then let's set these layers to multiply. So every time, tap the N, scroll up to multiply. This one and the bottom one. So now all of these dark blue layers, the bottom ones are set to multiply. Now let's start with this one. Go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right. Just slightly, let's go for 6%. Then we'll move to this one, go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, and then slide to the right to 6%. And we'll do the same for these layers. 6 over here, magic wand, Gaussian blur, slide to the right to, in this case, 7%. Next one, go to the magic wand, Gaussian blur, slide to the right to 7%. And then this one, Gaussian blur, under adjustments, and slide to the right to 7%. Now these shadows already look good. We don't need to move them around, but let's add some highlights. Let's go to this layer first, grab that light color again, 5th color in the 3rd row. And for our brush, we will go to the painting brushes again and use the acrylic. So let's go along this edge here. Add a little highlight. And do the same on this layer. And just for this curve here. This one doesn't need it. It's blocked by that blue ribbon shape. And we can also do it for these parts. So let's go to this one first. Add a little highlight. It's very subtle. You can barely see it here. Then the next one over here. And then we'll move to this layer, the purplish one. Add a slight highlight. And then finally on this one as well, although you probably can't really see it, it's very subtle, but a little highlight there as well. Now I just want a few more shapes in front here, so let's go to the top of all the layers, then tap the plus, then let's go back to the calligraphy brushes, use the script brush, and let's first grab this pink, 3rd color in the 3rd row, and let's make a shape here. Curved shape like this. Drag in the color, then make another layer on top. Let's tap the plus. Let's grab this red, that 7th color in the 2nd row. Make another curve over here. Drag in the color. And then finally one more layer. Let's tap the plus. And let's use this color, 6th color in the 1st row. And let's place that here. Another curve. And drag in the color. Now we just need to texture those. So let's turn on alpha lock. Grab the thylacine brush again under inking. And let's grab this color, 4th color in the 1st row. Let's add some texture here. Then grab the smudge tool. Then we'll go to the next layer, layer 16 here, tap the layer, turn on alpha lock. Then for the color, let's grab this one, 6 color in the second row. Add a little bit of lighter red, just a touch. Then grab the smudge tool, smudge it a bit. And then for that pink layer, tap the layer, turn on alpha lock. Then let's grab this orange, 5th color in the second row. And let's add some of that here. Then grab the smudge tool, soften it a bit. And then we just need the shadows here. So remember the steps. We need to duplicate these first, slide to the left on each of these layers, then go to the bottom one, grab the dark blue color, 5th color in the first row, then tap the layer, use fill layer, do that for each of the bottom ones. So that's 3 times in this case. Then let's set the layer to multiply. So tap the N, scroll up to multiply, tap the N here, scroll up, and then turn off alpha lock for each of these layers. So either slide to the right with 2 fingers or tap the layer and turn off alpha lock. Then go to the magic wand, then to Gaussian blur, slide to the right to around 7% and repeat this step for these dark blue layers. Go to the magic wand, Gaussian blur, slide to the right to 7%, and then this one, go to the magic wand, to Gaussian blur, and slide to the right to 7%. And finally, we just need to fill our background. So let's make a layer all the way at the bottom. Let's first tap this layer, then tap the plus, and then drag this underneath. You can tap and hold, and then drag it underneath. Then for the color, we'll grab this one, 10th color in the first row, drag it in, and then let's just add a little bit of texture here. Let's grab this dark blue, for instance, 5th color in the first row. For the brush, we will use the thylacine. And let's add that here, for instance, dark blue. Let's also add a little bit here. And let's also add a little bit of this 8 color in the second row. Let's add that here. And a little bit here. And then you can grab the smudge tool again, little finger, smudge it a bit to add some of that painterly texture here in this background layer as well. And there you have your abstract artwork. I hope you found following this tutorial relaxing and fun. I'm looking forward to seeing your version of this piece, so don't forget to share it. And if you feel like following another tutorial, then I think you might like this one next. I would like to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for the next tutorial.